Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast. Wednesday night for us, so Supercoach edition. A little bit of an announcement. I'll probably do it later on at the end of the show about this moving forward, this time slot, things like that as well. Just to let you all know and aware of all that, but we will let you know that later on in the episode. So don't be alarmed, not going anywhere. If anything, it's actually good news for you because you're probably getting the content a little bit earlier than you currently are, which is probably good news for everyone out there. But huge night, obviously Origin affected round, but still it feels like there's so much to talk about in a Supercoach point of view. Very average week it was for all of us, to be fair. And I think most Supercoaches out there got stung quite a bit. So plenty to discuss, plenty that's happening and everything else. So Jesse, you're fresh off. You set your second podcast of the week, which you just don't do anymore. You used to be a pro at the backup, but I reckon this might be affecting you.
What, the double up?
The double
not
up?
at all. No, I feel great. Honestly, fresh as. And we'll get into it. But yeah, there's probably a very good, solid chance that I will be back to 2 shows a week again if the arrangements are how they are. So, yeah, keen for that. That'll be good. Yeah, besides that, am I going into my round or are we doing the introductions?
Well, what are the two? Can you just hint to the viewers what maybe the 2 shows are, or what? Are you just going to leave it on tenterhooks?
No, I'll get into it then. I'll be the one to pull the Band-Aid off. So the live show and the Supercoach show are going to switch places, as we've discussed earlier before. So yeah, the live show will be on the Wednesday, like it used to be last year, and the Supercoach show will be recorded on a Tuesday night, to come out for basically the late Tuesday night for a Wednesday viewing. So yeah, it'll be good. Like it'll give everyone watching this one an extra day, I suppose, to absorb that content, to go through it, to work out trades and to get everything basically underway. Because yeah, as it stands at the moment, our show comes out on a Thursday by the time people are watching. And I suppose in a way, you do get in a little later to see some late mail stuff, which is nice on our show, but it does take a day away from preparation. So yeah, all in all, I think it'll be good getting back to the normality again of the Wednesday live, and an extra day for the Supercoach listeners too, to get their teams in order. And I think, yeah, everyone's best interest, it seems.
Yeah, and just to go a little bit more into there, a few things to note off that as well. Probably more important than ever to be part of the Legends group, because that will mean for us, we're obviously doing our trade planning in that a whole day earlier than we normally would, or what we have been doing. So there's probably bound to be changes. So I'll make sure you are part of that. $2.99 per month, or just to know what we're doing, really, because I guarantee you almost every week, at least most of our plans will change from the podcast itself. Great news is that we'll be getting you the Supercoach stuff pretty early. Like we'll be one of the first out there to put the content out now, which is great. Get on the front foot a little bit. It has been tough a little bit as well, because we're at the moment, I feel like we're one of the last ones, and it feels like sometimes even we've discussed topics well in advance, other places do them, things like that. So it does make that a little bit tough. The live show as well. I know there's plenty that watch the live show that are Supercoach people as well, players, I should say, listeners. It's just a bit congested at the moment, we find, on a Tuesday night. It's very hard, and we've been told by a couple of people already, hard for them to watch everything. So we want to make that a little bit easier. And also, there's so much news that happens by like Wednesday sort of as well. So it makes it a bit easy for us to talk about some newsworthy topics, things like that, which is what the live show is all about. Tuesday from the Sunday show, we review everything to Tuesday. Probably didn't leave much time either. So I'm glad that we can do that little change up and just make it a bit easier, and obviously have a bit more discussion as well around things. So very keen to get into that one. Trav, how are you, mate? I know you're a little bit under the weather, so we appreciate you jumping on and giving your wisdom as always.
Anything for the crew. I'm taking one for the team, everybody. Taking one for the team. Boys.
Good.
Let's get into it. There's not much to talk about with the TLT side of things, and there's so many really good talking points tonight, so I really want to get to them. So we're going to probably do a record pace get through this TLT stuff tonight. So first one off the bat, because I guarantee you everyone doesn't really care about this part right now, knowing what we've got to talk about. The Doggies against the Dolphins Thursday night. So basically tonight, when most of the people are listening or watching this. For the Bulldogs, there is that many changes, but a couple of the noteworthy ones. Blake Taaffe will start at centre, and Curran also comes back from suspension, returning at prop, which is huge for them. For the Dolphins, Averillo wins the starting at the start at fullback. There was rumours about a couple of others. Donahue, for instance. Farnworth was a smoky that I think a lot of super coaches would have loved to have seen. But Averillo has got the job. To be fair, he has done a good job when he was at the Dogs, whenever he got a chance to play fullback. So I do like that move. So that'd be really good. And Ray Stone at lock as well. Anything you boys want to discuss from this game at the moment, or is there anything there'll be things that we talk about down the track of this podcast?
Yeah, probably down the track with it, to be fair. I know the TLT side of things, it's a bit broken this week because there's so many ins and outs in a couple of these sides. But yeah, there's a couple. We can sort of get into it later on, I'd say.
Put your hand up if you had a sneaky hope that Farnworth was going to play fullback this weekend.
I kind of didn't want it, to be fair.
I did. I don't know what you're talking about. As if you didn't
like,
want him to be
No, honestly, like what's he gonna do more than he's already doing at the moment? Like he's basically banging out 80s every week and scoring a try. He's
probably
the best center
do
in the world.
130.
I don't know, man.
Joey
I
Manu
reckon he
type.
probably would have. Could have been very much a Joey Manu, or he could have been more of like a Stephen Crichton. Not exactly that relevant at fullback. Again, I don't know. It would have been nice, but again, I don't think it really matters for him. I'm happy to see him on the left against that right edge doggies. It's very different and new. So he's going to run through Blake Taff. It's where I kind of want him.
Yeah. Next up, the Eels taking on Manly Friday 8:00 game. For the Eels, Hawkins back in the 7 jumper, obviously covering for Moses, who is on Origin duty. Talangi also returns in the back row with Jack Williams after a barnstorming game on the weekend. In the first week, he's now got the dual as well, which is noteworthy. All those players that were in those articles about getting duals starts this week, so they've already been added. He goes back to the middle, which I'm not a huge fan of, to be perfectly honest, because he had a barnstorming game last week. I know he spent a little bit of time, but he did start on the bench, on the edge there, which is great. For Manly, huge talking point, obviously, is Tom Trbojevic not named in the Blues, which means those who do have Turbo at the moment, I know there's probably not that many, but probably that is rising as well, those stocks. He does start at fullback, which is a danger sign for everyone out there. Jake Arthur starts at halfback, also in place of DCE, so he's back to his old stomping ground. And Matt Lodge named on the bench, with actually Turbo is captaining the team as well. Anything you want to discuss on this game for now?
A couple of relevant Manly boys at the moment. Hey, used to, a couple of big Origin boys not named. Ola Kawatu, Turbo. I do like Ola Kawatu as an option, to be fair. I think the fact that he plays all 3 buys, really good. I don't know. I think as far as the second row side in the Origin team goes, he's obviously not the next guy up. So there's a good chance that he just plays all 3 buys and could be really valuable over it. Turbo, it's a little bit iffy. I've seen a lot of people looking at jumping on Turbo, doing Ponga to Turbo swaps or just downgrade option. And I think whenever you can get a Turbo for mid 500s, it's a bargain, but it seems to be pretty, it's pretty apparent he's not the Turbo that we kind of want at the moment. And I think, doing a Ponga to Turbo swap, I honestly don't think you're gaining much at this stage. And especially with the massive break-even Turbo's got, he could be in the 4s next year, next week. He could be 480k potentially. And that's when maybe, you start looking into it because there's very little to lose. But at the moment, I don't know. I love him. But it's so hard to consider buying him in. Just seems wrecked.
Iongi to Turbo? Question mark?
No, I don't think I would. It's just insane, isn't it?
It's just insane to talk about at the moment. Like if this is the conversation at the start of the year saying it would be almost a seamless transition over, that's just crazy in itself. Trav, anything to add to this one at the moment, or we're going to wait for a bit more in-depth discussion?
I think you touched on Turbo was one to talk about. I've had a lot of questions come through my DMs about Lehigh Hopewadi as a really nice pod play. He's not in the top trade in, so he's someone to probably talk about quickly if you wanted to, Jesse. But so I know you really like him. I've told them all that'd be a great pod play. A couple of them that I've been talking to are in the top couple of K. That's the type of play that they need to really catch up because obviously in the top few K, the teams are very similar. But really the only thing separating is your reserve choices and your captain choices is the only thing really separating the top-notch people. But yeah, he might be a really good choice or someone to keep on the radar for someone to bring in.
Yeah, 100%. I think with Lehigh, just in the last 2 weeks too, we've seen a bit of an uptick in his effort in general. Last week was a big one. He based and powered 52, which is massive for him. Ended up in 89, and he could have been, honestly, it could have been so much more with the chances that he had if he scored in one or two more, which he almost did. So, yeah, I think it's a really good one. Obviously, bye coverage is really good. His position is locked in. I don't think there's any debate around where he's going to be. He's definitely starting, and look, he's one niggle away from being the fullback, and we know how good he is at fullback too. So, it's a handy duel. You're not really going to do too much with it as a fullback, but the way that the flex is going at the moment and the fact that, there's usually 3 fullback flex, you can kind of use him in that position too and then move your centers around. I like it. Honestly, I do. I think when it comes to Manly, you just got to watch the mini buys because they are off 2 of them, I think. But yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's sort of Garrick and everyone else is a bit of a unknown. Like I wouldn't be happy to roll the dice too often on like a Saab. At the moment, Turbo, I'm sort of iffy on, but like, when Turbo's out, which is a potential, he's on the way back. Lehigh's the next guy up. So if it's not Garrick for me, which is the only Manly player I've got, it would be Lehigh, I would say. Really nice pod play, really good output. He's got a massive ceiling on him. Can't knock it.
Yep. Very, very fair. We'll get into anything else later on, I'm sure of it. Next Saturday, or the first Saturday games, Penrith against Newcastle in Bathurst. So not really a home game for either team. Penrith are decimated, it's fair to say. That some of the notable changes are Schneider and Laurie into the spine, into their chosen position. So Laurie fullback, Schneider into halfback. And Jack Cole returns on the bench. It's a very weird looking bench for Penrith. So I'll just keep an eye on late mail because I doubt they'll go into to that team with 2 playmakers on their bench, which currently they do have. So a very odd bench. I know they've got Garner out now. They've got IPAP. Both have been now confirmed, I believe, today, out for at least 2 weeks. That weird concussion thing that happened with Garner yesterday with team list. And apparently he was named originally, quickly got scrapped. There was a moment there where there was blank. Finally found a replay. Like, it was all going on. So incredible to see that. For the Newcastle Knights, big one is Fletcher Sharp, who is in a lot of teams at the moment. And this is one of the big reasons I think so many of us got onto him. He gets to start at fullback. So we've got getting that, which is awesome to see. That does mean the Knights have another new halves pairing, though, in Gamble and Cogger. So apparently Gamble was their man at 7. He's now been switched to 5'8". And Cogger comes into the halves. What does Hastings need to do? I've got no idea, but yeah, that is what it is. Anything to discuss at the moment? Trav?
Isn't that now 5 combinations in a
Already
matter of
this
10
year.
weeks? Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't he say at the start of the year, it was like one of his big things was he wanted to have a settled halves pairing?
Yeah, he did. And he's already at
Absolutely.
5 and it's round 12. Redonkulous.
AOB.
Shocking.
The meme that keeps on giving.
Yeah, honestly.
The clear definition of insanity.
Novelty now at this point. I hate to be in that side. Yeah, Sharp at fullback. Huge. It's good. It's kind of what we expected, really, isn't it? I don't think there was much doubt around that position. Yeah, look, he's almost playing fullback anyway. So it's kind of like, he's always backing up for that support run. He's always there and about it. So I think we'll see that and a bit more. And I'm so ready for that. Super keen, because last week was a bit of a dull effort, but I think he had a cork last week, so it was sort of injury affected in a way. But yeah, it's good to just have him named, because there was a bit of doubt around him, and obviously Lucas as well. He's back in the second row, which is massive relief for pretty much everyone. But yeah, God, it's a hard one to pick, this, isn't it? Because you look at these two sides and the Knights as how they've been going, you can't really tip them. But looking at that Penrith side, it's like it's not even Penrith anymore.
Yeah. And no players of Penrith interest me at the moment. So.
None. Jesse, you make me laugh so much. You really do.
Why?
You make me laugh so much. So you're all excited about Fletcher Sharp going to fullback, but you're just like, but Herbie Farnworth going to fullback, and you're not excited at all. Like, it just, you make me laugh. Like, how different. He averages 6 points more. Like, Sharp averages 69.9. And Farnworth averages 75.9. And it's a wonderful number. It's the best number in the world. But you make me laugh so much, man. Your downplay sabotage to everybody to not get Farnworth is just hilarious.
Get out of here. I reckon Herbie's one of the biggest trade-ins this week, and rightfully so. Herbie's biggest advocate. I've named my team after him. I can't get any more supportive of Herbie Farnworth. But he's the best centre there is, and he's absolutely dominating in that position. I understand the move to fullback, but again, like, what's he going to do more than what he's already doing? Like, I'm more than happy for him to just stay settled and locked in, and just on that side, particularly this week with the Dogs lineup, all about it. But with Sharp, okay, it's a 5'8" move to fullback, and he's basically playing fullback anyway. So on that side, I can see the upside. For Herbie, I'm like, fuck, what more upside can you get? 150. I'll take it, but I don't know if it happens.
You're doing this again. You're sabotaging my own segment where I'm trying to go through record pace. But do we all remember Pitbull and Mr. Worldwide? Honestly, your new title is Mr. Sabotage, and I think everyone is starting to see the cracks. You are Mr. Sabotage.
Guys are cooks.
Honestly,
I'm sure there's people that get it.
Move on.
Oh well. Next game up, Roosters against the Cronulla Sharks. He's hate it. For the Roosters, well, Dom Young isn't at Newcastle. He's actually back on the wing for the Roosters. That pushes Mark Nwanga Nitawasi into the centres after those heroic tries on the weekend, but he just needs to learn how to catch a high ball, so this will help him. He won't have to catch a high ball in the centres. So, well, good coaching there by Robbo. Just hide him. just hide him. In attack, maybe switch back out to the wing. For Keddy and Makatoa, new look front row as well, which does not excite me one bit. But anyway, for the Sharkies, nothing really to talk about because they are basically full strength in a bye affected round, which is absolutely huge. Apart from, I think, one or two maybe injuries, but yeah, they're pretty much good to go. Scary.
Yeah. The only thing relevant there's a few things relevant in terms of players, but most of us have got them or about to get, and we'll talk about it. But one thing that people need to know, which I've said a few times, is that the Sharks play the first two major bye rounds, and they literally have no one playing Origin. So, yeah, I mean, they do have the mini bye next week, so beware of that. But yeah, I think I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. I should mention in case others do have it, just so quickly, Jesse, in case some people out there somehow have him because of other trades they needed to do, but Hiroti is named for Stone Street. So, Supercoach.
Yeah. Very timely too. I know Trav still held on to Hiroti, and for an extra buy number this week, people that were probably expecting to trade him out in the last couple and just haven't been able to do it. Yeah, it's so handy. God, I wish I had someone pop their head up in injury this week for me. But yeah, I think he'll do a pretty good job. And look, that Rooster side at the moment, it's not very good. I reckon when you start looking at like matchup versus matchup, and you look at the front rowers, I'm like, geez, Fanua Blake is going to do an absolute number on who he's got up against. So yeah, they're very popular trade-in options this week. They're already pretty popularly owned, but yeah, I think there'll be a lot of points in this game, genuinely, and I had to see a lot of them coming from the Roosters, unfortunately.
Last game Sunday, Warriors against the Raiders. Really looking forward to this game for the Raiders. Obviously, big outs with Fisher Harris suspended and Barnett in for Origin. Could be huge for Aaron Clark owners. He could be on an absolute tear in this one. Becomes the main big dog, I guess, in that pack. For the Raiders, obviously, no Hudson Young gets the call up through Origin. But the lucky thing for that is Horsburgh missed out. So those that did keep him in the end, I don't think any of us now have him after a week where we decided, he's a sure thing for Origin. We're now licking our wounds a little bit. But to be fair, I went to Hosking and I was pretty happy with that one as well. So I'll take that. So yeah, anything for these two? Or I feel like I feel like I've looked at these already, and this is in the talking points. A lot of these.
Yeah. Well, mainly around Big Joe Taps. He's such a popular option this week, and rightfully so. I think he's one of the best replacements for a big dog front rower if you have to drop one this week, which we will talk about soon. But yeah, like Horsburgh, great hold if you got him. I'll get off him a couple of weeks ago personally when he had that concussion, but. Yeah, he's really timely, really good hold for him. Starling as well. A lot of people, he's just been killing it lately as well. He's probably the best form hooker at the moment. Hosking, there's so many options between both sides too. They've been really relevant lately, and yeah, this is going to be a cracker.
Yeah, I agree. Trav,
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Can't wait till Sunday 4:00.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I'm I'm a bit out of it, so I'm going all over the shop to start with this episode. We're going to take a few steps back. First of all, shout out to Freedom Finance Group, the sponsor of the podcast, obviously. So shout out to Con and his team doing great things for the community. Obviously, some huge news over the last 24 to 48 hours regarding some interest rates and things like that. Good news, we will have him on next week, actually on this Supercoach show for the first 10 or so minutes to discuss all things in the news at the moment that will affect you guys. And he's there to literally help. A good way for you all to meet him, put a face to the name, see just what we're talking about when he's such a great bloke. So that'd be really good to see. And we'll also see who he's going for in Origin because it'll be the night before. So you might be able to judge if he says the right team. You can go and give him some questions and things like that. So very keen to rip into that. The other one we obviously have forgot to do, and I probably because we don't want to talk about it, but unfortunately in the content game we have to, is our results from the weekend. We normally go from the bottom up. So Jesse, can you start us off, please? Which I'd feel a bit odd in saying, but is this 2 weeks in a row?
2 weeks in a row that you've outscored me.
Well, you've just been last
2 weeks in a row
group.
that geez, was I last this week? Yeah, I would have been far out. Yeah, I had a shocker. God, absolute bloody shit. Freaking everything. I just couldn't do anything last week. It was just 20s all over the place. It was a horrible week. I scored 1,091. It's a freaking shithouse. So my round rank was 96,000, which is horrendous. Like I haven't been that bad for quite a long time. I won one of my head-to-heads with a rescore of 3 points, which was really nice because I was behind by quite a lot, actually. I think it was Galvin's 20-point up score that got me there. So I dropped basically a bit over half my rank. So I dropped 1,204 spots down to 2,326. So, yeah, it's a hell of a slide from where I was 2 weeks ago. But, we move forward. Unfortunately, as well, with all the injuries and everything that we all copped last week, I was sitting in a good place for buy numbers this week. And now at the max trade target that I can do, I will still be one man short. So it's after the last 2 weeks of red arrows, and especially last week's one, because I traded in Drinkwater and I captained him. And it couldn't have gone any worse. It was a ripe 14, and the funny thing is he didn't even flex out of my side with the 28 because Purdue scored 27. So yeah, it was all bad. Everywhere I was looking, I was like, this is not good. So yeah, now I'm sort of in the hole with it. Another 160 odd break, almost 160 break even out of Drinkwater, which I lost a ton of coin on Ponga. Either way, I'm just rambling. I don't have a full side this week, so I am. Yeah. This is how I get when I start, I'm back against the wall.
You are under the pump. This is everyone now watching a guy that's been just up top for almost 2 months, just flying high, coasting almost. Now we're seeing the real Jesse come out. Now it's quite humorous, to be honest with you. I actually love it.
I bet it is. I'm still ahead of you for a week, so we'll be right.
Yeah, one more week.
That's it.
Trav, you're next on the list by 4 points, actually. I just got you.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean 4 points? I won the matchup by 25. I scored 781.
I'm out of here. See you later, guys.
I got.
This is a joke.
I thought my team went really well. So I brought in Marnie off the waivers. So I thought that was a great get. So he scored a 48.
Move on.
Oh yes, this is
Watson.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Hang on. We're not talking about draft.
So wait, we've both beaten Joel this year. He's only lost twice.
2 in a row. Yeah. 781. He got 754. Kicked his ass.
I love a rescore loss. You love a rescore loss, Joel.
Honestly, it's happened to me both times. It's the rescores that got me both times. This is a joke.
And I beat you by 25 points. But and then Jesse
got me by 50 on a rescore.
That's what we're talking about, isn't it? This is a draft podcast.
Yeah. We're draft players.
I'm an overall player now. I'm a head-to-head overall player.
No, just put it out there just so that everyone, in case you didn't understand, I played Joel in the draft. He talks so much of trash about how good he is. He's still number one in the comp off wins, but has lost to myself and Jesse in consecutive weeks now. And I've pipped him on total points. So he's only up there because he's had some crappy matchups in the last 11 weeks. But anyways,
to be fair, the only two I wanted to beat, I've lost to. So
it's funny that.
And then he knew exactly. Funny that he never said a single thing. He hasn't said anything until now, and he probably wasn't going to say anything, and was hoping I wouldn't bring it up. On a side note, let's talk about what we're here for. I got 1,126. I dropped 4,254 ranks or red arrows down to 19,797. I brought in the wonderful Scott Drinkwater at 906K, and the dude didn't even end up in my top 17 scores. So that was money well worth it as the captain. Didn't even end up. He dropped out. He flexed. So that was a very worth 900K. And my other one was Hosking, and he worked out. He got 77. So that was great.
Yeah, that was good.
So was stoked with one. I had one league win. My team values at 15,802. Total scores 13,734. I just quickly say something. The last 2 weeks, it's literally been captains. The reason why I've had not rubbish. I actually think I've scored all right in the grand scheme of things, but I've literally had 2 captains that have stuffed me. Not captaining Pappenhausen, which I actually had on him the whole weekend until Cleary played that Saturday night. And then I changed it to Cleary. I lost. He got 180. Cleary got 77. So I lost 108 points. And then this week I had the captain on May, and I said in the podcast last week, it was May number 1. But then I wanted maybe I go some juju if I bring in Drinky. So I went the juju for the notion of bringing someone in. When you trade them in, put the captain on that, and that cost me 123 points. So that's 231 points just in captains that I literally have had on until last minute and changed it off. If I had those 234 points, I'd be 8,997th ranked.
Whoa.
Not 19,797. So I'd be 11,000 ranks higher.
That's
so
wild.
Just that's literally just where it's at. Like that's how the season is, and I've been scoring pretty well. Like I legitimately have, and my team is really good. I'm very stoked with the team. It's just that middle pack in this top 20K is just so tightly compacted, and so one good decision makes you run up to the top 10K, and one bad decision drops you down. And I've been playing that field at the moment. So I just need to get that captain right.
Yeah. Don't change him.
Yeah. Just stick to, I think we've realized all realized to stick to them. I got 1,130 on the weekend. So top's got it out of us, though, which is pretty much all I care about. I just want to keep beating you guys. So it's win's a win. That's what it says on the tally board, a win. So I'll take that. But I thought that was a decent score, and I actually lost rank. I lost 2,000 ranks. So I went from 5,000 to 7,200, which I thought was insane. But anyway, I didn't actually win too many head-to-heads, so that probably showed me something there as well, that it may not have been the greatest. But shout out to Timmy Williams at the Supercoach Playbook. Hashi's had a bit of a laugh with him over the weekend because I actually got on the last minute. I got on the Connor Tracy train. I actually was versing him in. We've got our own Creator Cup, and then there's obviously the better Creator Cup, which I share on our socials sometimes. And I had him this week. He's leading it by, I think, 2 wins. He's out in front clearly, and I thought, here we go. I actually got him. So he was one of my victories on the weekend with that score. So I had a bit of a laugh with him. He loved it. So, but Connor Tracy, seriously, go stuff yourself. I got you in late, last minute. Another late minute change. Why we continue to do it, I don't know, because we continue to just roast ourselves over it. This week, I am not changing anything. I've locked my trades in, and I'm sticking with it. I've locked captains in. I've done everything. I'm sticking strong. Connor Tracy, seriously, go and just – I don't want to see you again. So you should be dropped to New South Wales Cup, probably Jim Beam Cup if it's still going. But, yeah, that's it. I think my total score at the moment is 14,036. Alrighty, I think Jesse wants to have a bit of a Jesse segment, which is you just want to explain a bit of how the buys work, I guess, and
Yeah.
probably everything together. Sort of, then you can go into it, the reduced squads and the looping opportunities that this round actually presents. So a few things into one, which is all relevant for this weekend.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, it's our first buy round of the year. For a lot of players, if they're their first year playing, this is
Oh,
the first buy round. Sorry.
hang on, I told you I'm all over the shop. I forgot about our overall comp. Let me just quickly get that up before you get straight into it. My bad, because there is a prize to give away. Sorry, guys, I'm I'm done. So winning at the moment is Josh Berto's Bombs, whose overall rank is he's second in the overall ranks. So we've got the second big dog in our league. He went up 18 spots on the weekend, so he's sitting in 20th overall. Went up to second, so that was fantastic to see. The top points for that round that was Mark Blue and Gold Army. So if you are following the page, obviously a Parramatta fan, shout out to you there. Message the page to get that $10 break credit from Pack Lords, and also a cooler from thanks to TC Coolers, our League of Inches cooler. Probably the green one because you're a Supercoach player. We can get one of those sent out to you. So just hit the DMs. We'll organize all those prizes for you. Sorry, Jesse. I think we have all cleared out now. We are done. Go ahead. I'm just going to shut up.
All right, cool. Thanks. Yeah, so it's the first major buy round, the dreaded round 12 that we've sort of been talking about. Probably as far as it goes from a lot of the sides that I've seen, it looks like this might actually be the hardest one, based off player ownerships and pretty much where things are sitting. Out of the three, this appears for most to be the one that the majority of the players are dropping out for. But again, it's all team dependent anyway. I know Joel has like 20 players this week, and I have 11. So a little bit different. But yeah, basically
I
only the
agree to
top
that.
13 top scorers will be your actual scorers for this week. So essentially, just think about it like every other player in your side will just flex out. Um, what it does give you the chance to do is give you a free VC loop basically for anyone. So there's no real consequence to it now. You're going to get those top 13 scores. There's no real AE if you do have more than 13 players. Anyone that's low will just drop out anyway. If you do have 13, you'll get everyone's score regardless anyway. So, yeah, it just gives you the free crack at a loop. There are a couple of really nice options this week for a VC loop. Obviously, a lot of the Origin guys are out, so you're going to have to make do with what you got. But it's a really good week. There's usually some massive scores from really low owned players. There'll be massive pod stuff going on. There always is. And yeah, it's real fun. You just sort of have to capitalize on it too, because again, limited reduced squads, you kind of need a breakout player, and you really need to get your captaincy right this round. Otherwise, you do fall away pretty quick. So there is ground to make. Again, I will talk to both of you about it as well, because it does affect me a lot this week, and I know both of you have good numbers. Um, Going into it with obviously less than 13. Um, I am going in max traded with 12, and that's as much as I could possibly get this week. And to be fair, any less than 12, I would be concerned. 12 is
So,
kind of the number. Sorry?
so I was going to say, so you before you trade, you had 9, and then you've traded to make sure you had all right.
Yep. So I've had to do max 3 trades just to get myself to 12. Where last week I'd sort of had the mindset I'll get Drinky in because I know that I'll have more than 13 anyway. And it didn't happen. So yeah, hindsight's a beautiful thing. I could have got in more buy numbers for this week last round, but I didn't, and now I'm a man short. But again, it's one of those things like we've seen it, and Trav's mentioned it just before with the captaincy side of things. When Pappenhausen's getting 180, Turon May's getting 130 points. Like sometimes your captain scores dick all, and you end on 28 as a captain score, and sometimes a captain scores 130, and you get his double. So that can very much happen on this kind of week too. And there's a lot of outs. There's a lot of players that will take this opportunity to try and prove their position or try and get a big score out of it. And they're the guys you kind of want to run a captaincy choice on, because depleted squads mean someone's going to capitalize on that in general. So yeah, if you had 12, even if you had 11, if you get your captain nailed, you can stay with the pack. Any less, I'd be freaking out. I'd be panic stations. But I'm already at panic stations with 12. But of course, if you have more, it almost puts you in a bit of a luxury position because you get a free boost this week. And if you've been frugal with trades, your team's set up nicely for this round, like Joel's is definitely. I would almost use this week to plan ahead. Instead of trying to give yourself more opportunity for more scores this week, you're only going to get the 13. And if you've got 15, 16 players, man, you're going to get a pretty good score regardless. I can't see, with the way that the teams are structured at the moment, I really can't see a bad score. And if you've got 3 guys dropping out, you've got 3 guys dropping out. Like, that's a good bit of a luxury to have. So yeah, think about that. It's essentially a free boost if you do have the trades to use them. There's a lot of players that we're looking at. If your numbers are set up this week, but you're 15 and you're 18 are short, look ahead for them. Like, I would 100% make a proactive trade this week if I could, and I'd get a guy in for next week. On next week, the mini buy. So we do get 3 mini buys in after each major. 3 teams are out. The 3 teams that are out for next week are the Sharks, the Dogs, and the Dolphins. So the Dogs and the Sharks specifically, I don't see too many people bringing in Dolphins outside of Herbie. But the Sharks, definitely. A lot of people are looking at Hines from a Cleary swap if they don't already have him. This Fanua Blake's massive at the moment, with people looking to trade Haas out as an Origin swap. You've also got Nikora, you've got Kyle Ero, you've got Mulatalo. He's been in a few chats that I've seen. That's a lot of players. And if you've already got 2 or 3 of them, and then you go and bring in a Kickow or a Matt Burton or Connor Tracy, like some people did last week, all of a sudden you're automatically 5, 6, 7 players down, and then you've got to contend with Origin restings. So it's a full squad next week. It's not reduced. It's the full 17 as always. And yeah, that's kind of where it can catch you out very quickly, because we're trying to fill numbers for this round. For a majority of the teams, we're still trading in people 1, 2, or 3 to get more buy round 12 numbers for players that will be out next week. So just make sure that you're not doing yourself out of any sort of score next round. Because you do have the luxury of a short week this week. So yeah, I just sort of wanted to get that out there. We have mentioned it a little bit before leading up to this pod in the past. I think the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, we sort of touched on it. But now that it's here and it's in front of us, and you can see the most popular trade-ins, you can see the trade-outs. A lot of the trade-ins are off next week, but I'd say you've already done your prep and you've looked at your side. So just make sure that you've got a team for next round. So yeah, that's sort of what I want to touch on. Is there anything you two wanted to add into any of that, just the buy around stuff in general?
No, Trev. He's muted himself again. He loves mute.
Well, I'm trying to stop everyone from listening to my coughing and sniffling, but no, not really. I mean, not as in basic information around what the buys are and that. And we've spoken about it to the nth degree the last few weeks, and then a lot of our posts have been around good buy coverage, who to get, what positions, things like that. So I think you've covered that really well.
Cool. All right.
Just
So
yep. Sorry, just one little one I did realize I wanted to mention when you sort of started that whole segment. I get your whole a trade to plan ahead, but I'm a bit cautious this year because we've seen so many injuries. And I just feel like my luck, I'll just get caught. Like, I'll go early this week on Kalal Matangi, and all of a sudden in training he's gone for 12 weeks. Like, I can just see something like that happening. So I totally understand it, and I'd love those players that will do that and get ahead. There's definitely merit in it, not trying to diss what you're saying. But for me personally, I just don't want to push that envelope. I'm happy to just any trades I do, it's for people that are playing this week that I generally see as keepers moving forward. And that's sort of where I am thinking.
Yeah, 100%. It's fair. Just like training injuries happen. We saw it with Garner. You know what I mean? That was right on team list. So you got to get real unlucky for it. But yeah, in a position where you sort of
Hello?
in a way, I sort of would. But oh wow, that was weird. Did I just drop out?
Yeah.
Everything just went black for a
I
second.
was literally about to start.
There you go. Right. Anyway,
I disagree. And I don't want to get into argument because we've got other stuff to talk about, but I disagree. I think if you're in a position here where you've got 13 players and you can get yourself a 14th, or even not bother with a 14th, because I actually think 11 and 12 with all the injuries and everything that's just happened, I think is more than enough for this round. But if you can prepare yourself by getting a Matangi or someone next week and beyond that's going to play next week, and get ahead of the pack, I think you're winning. I think you're in a much better stance than what myself is going to be, because I can't do that next week because I'm making these trades to get myself to 13.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yep.
that's
Yeah, and
fair.
that's kind of the
Like, for
point that I
me,
was making, because
yeah. My personal thing is, like, I know I've got, I think it's 16 at the moment for this round, but I haven't actually purposely done that. I actually did zero planning whatsoever. It's just happened that a lot of my players have been teams that play this weekend. And if anything, the only conscious thing I have done in the last couple of weeks is not trading players that I thought were potential for Origin. So I did try and focus on that side of things, which has probably helped me a little bit. It just naturally happened. So it's not like me have actually done this on purpose and gone, yeah, I want 16 plays in there. It just naturally
yeah,
happened. And the way I now see it is I get, like you sort of said, Jesse, I've got like, what is it? 3 bonus flex basically plays for this round, which is only a good
yeah,
thing. So touch
yeah.
wood, surely this week can be a good week where I can bounce back from last week's 2000 rank drop.
Yeah, yeah. If you're going into it with, excess, for sure, like, you have to imagine that you're going to climb. It's just
Yeah.
the odds are in your favor. You know what I mean? Like, where for myself, going in with a man short off the jump, I need to get my captain right. That's the only chance I've got to post up a respectable score. So
I
yeah,
think that if you're in the position of having more than 13, you need to think about what you're going to be like next week and who backs up and how many Bulldogs, Sharks, and Dolphins guys we have, because we do have a few of them, and there's a few people buying them in this week. And the other thing to look at is what's your numbers like in 15, because
Yep.
that's actually only in 3 rounds' time. So if you're in the position where you've got all these numbers now, start thinking around what your numbers are like in 15, because you might have these numbers now, but you may only have 8 or 9 and 15. So that's your other opportunity to start trying to get a couple of those guys in, which is the exact same situation that we all did in 8 and 9, preparing for 12. So that's why I don't have a problem with getting them early, because we were doing this for 8, 9, and 12, 8, 9, and 10. What's the difference? The only difference is that there's been a few injuries the last couple of weeks that people are now questioning. But yeah, it's the same theory. It's the same progress as what we had to do earlier to get ready for 15. And if you're in a position to, with that now, start doing it.
Yep, I agree, definitely. So on the trade in and outs, basically, we're not really going to do the same sort of run through the top 10 and in and outs that we've done in the past, because again, they're all pretty straightforward as far as it goes, but there's a lot of discussion. I sort of just want to open up the table to it, but Payne Haas. We kind of touched on it 2 weeks ago. We were talking about, like, somebody out of this forward pack that we've got, assuming Terrell May was going to be named, and obviously Tino and these guys, someone's kind of got to go, to either facilitate a trade, to get yourself numbers, to get anything going on. Payne Haas looks like the candidate at the moment for the trade outs. Obviously, Terrell May's not named. And Tino just seems like a bloody must-have hold forever, because even with his duels, he's just heaps valuable as a second rower in general. But what are you boys doing with Payne Haas? He's got a break even of 100. He's 840k, I believe. He's going into
842.
this. Yeah, so there's obviously a little bit of chat around his quad and this slight complaint that he's had. And the week before, he had the back tightness. Again, it didn't really seem to hinder any of his scores, and he's an absolute freak of nature. 3-round average of 87.3. Are you keeping him, Joel? We've all got him. So have you considered a Haas trade out?
Yes, I'm not doing it this week. I just to get in early. I actually highly doubt he backs up next Saturday either. Just with this quad injury that's happening, I just don't know if he will. I'm not doing it this week. I've gone some other options that I think suits my team a bit better in the long run. But my plan at the moment is to do it next week for the beast at South Sydney called Kalamatangi, and make that happen.
That's fair.
I just
Even
don't want
if
to
he's
go early
playing,
on him. So.
yeah, no, it's fair. Trav?
I think it's funny we're talking about this because a few weeks ago, Payne Haas was the dude I said that that should be the candidate, and everyone said no. And I had people come into my messages going, "You're not seriously considering trading Payne Haas?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And now we're at this point, and we're having a talk about it. And and I'm sitting there, and we're talking about this, and I'm like, "No, I don't really want to." It's just not something I want to consider, and I understand, but. No, I'm not trading him out this week. I'm of now the belief that I have 20 trades after my 3 this weekend. I just don't have the trades to get him out because I know that I'm going to have to get him back. So it's going to cost me 2, if not 3, if not 4 to find cash again to get him back. And I don't have that. So I am just going to ride his price drop that he's going to inevitably have. It is what it is because I still think even outside of the Origin games, he's going to score well, other than when he backs up. So if he backs up next week, he probably only plays 40 or 50. Maybe he gets 40 or 50 points. I'll just deal with that. That is what it is. I'm just going to keep that and save that trade.
Yeah, I don't think any of it really is about his cash, to be honest. Like his break even or losing cash out of him. I don't think it's really about that. I've never really considered. I've looked at his price tag. It's 842. It's massive, but I haven't really gone into it being like, oh god, I hope I don't lose heaps of coin on Payne Haas. It's not really come into my frame mind, but it's more about his minutes and availability. And at the moment, I think when it comes to it, and we're kind of blessed with the front row gods that we've got this year, it softens the blow a little bit. Like last week when we were speaking about, or the week before, I was like, I don't want to trade any of them, but I know I'm going to have to do something. And I thought at the time I would have moved Tino on, but I feel like it's a different situation now. But yeah, look, if he's going to not play, he's obviously not going to play this week. Chance he doesn't play next week. He'll play 14, then he's off 15 again. They play Saturdays. They play late games. There's a good chance that Payne Haas will back up, probably reduce minutes to it. But we've got the luxury this year of Tarpany freaking killing it. We've got Fanua Blake starting to come into form as well. Obviously, Terrell May, everyone's basically got him, and no one's getting rid of him at the moment either. We've got those options where, in the past, it's sort of been like the top dog front rowers and then a bit of daylight. And you sort of got hurt not having them. You still get hurt not having Haas. Don't get me wrong; he's the number 1 player at the moment in Supercoach, and I think he will be for the rest of the season. But you bank yourself 130. You get a player this week. You facilitate some trades, and you might cop a 10-point hit going down to a Tarpany. Like I don't mind it. Honestly, I don't think it's too bad. I really don't. And I agree with you. It's going to be very hard to get Haas back. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I've got less trades than you do, and I am trading Haas out at this stage. So yeah, I just need to. I don't have the. I got too many outs. I just struggle straight. So, yeah, look, I see heaps of merit in keeping him. Like so much. I think you just ride the period out, cop whatever it comes through, and then for the last round 20 onwards, he probably averages 100. So try and get him then. But maybe by that stage, maybe he's mid 700s, and it's not as bad. So yeah, it is just a big one because I see a lot of people talking about it, and it's very divisive because obviously he's the number 1 guy. But yeah, look, if it's going to be a swap to him, I just put a little thing further below the Payne Haas replacement for the people that are doing it. Haas can go to Tarpany, Fanua Blake, and even Aaron Clark at this stage. He's put his hand up as one of those top dogs that are playing. Joel's got him on last week, so yeah, I think they're all solid enough. I really don't think you're going to hurt. And I think over this Origin period, they're all going to score thereabouts the same. And availability is, the best part about it. They're probably going to outscore Haas in the next 8 weeks, just with the games that they will play. And that's, if that's the case, you get them in there. You get someone like a Tarpany who will probably average, he probably averages the same, if not more, than Haas does over this stretch. Good chance that come the end of Origin period, if you want to get back on Haas, you can just swap him back over, and that's one more trade. But it just depends. But I think the way that I'd probably rank it would be that order. Personally, I'd probably go Tarpany, Fanua Blake, and then Clark. There's probably discussion to move Clark further up, but I think not having a 15 or 18 in your buy schedule does hurt on that side of things because that's kind of what we're looking for at this stage. Tarpany will play this week. He'll play next week. I think they have around 15 off, and then they play 18 again, I believe. So
yeah. So Clark plays the next 3, 12, 13, 14, has 15, plays 16, 17, has 18. So the Warriors have the 2 major buys. Excuse me, I had it all here. The Raiders, Tarpany, he plays here through till 15, and then has 19 off. So he's a mini buy of 19. And the Sharks, I'll tell you right now.
They're off next week. I know that.
They're off. They're the mini buy next week, and then they play 14, 15, 16, 17, but don't play 18. So they've got the mini in 13 and then the major in 18. So in terms of draw, the best one's Tarpany.
Yep. And I think Tarpany's the most, if you're going to go like for like, if it's not a Terrell May, I think he's the most like for like to a Payne Haas at this stage. Their PPMs are very similar. Haas is a 1.6. He's playing bigger minutes too. Tarpany's 1.5 off basically 50 odd minutes. So, and we always see a bit of an uptick in his minutes around this time as well. And for 130k less, look, I'm not advocating for a Haas sell by any means. I think if you're in a position to hold him, you've got good numbers, you're not desperate to make coin and fill a spot, keep him, 100% keep him. But if you aren't, I think Tarpany will do just as good a job over this period, and he will play. So, yeah.
Only cost you the 15 buy, which is a big one. So that's the only one. That's why Aaron Clark, I think's, whilst a wonderful option, I think Aaron Clark's run's done. If you already got him, well done, awesome to him. If you don't have him yet, I don't think it's worth it because 15 and 18 are killers.
Yeah,
and
that's what
you're spending. You're spending a lot of money for a dude that's going to miss 2 major buys from 15 and 18.
Big time. All right. As far as other trade outs over this period, Kalen Ponga. So obviously he's so cheap. Yeah, he's cheap. We've already traded him. John didn't have him, but yeah, me and Trav traded him last week to Drinkwater. Didn't work too well. I would say, as far as a Ponga replacement goes, there's not really a direct fullback swap unless you're going to make that kind of coin. And obviously with the 3 trades, I would say if you've got the money to go Ponga to Teddy, I would be locking that in this week, and I'd be finding a way to do it easily. Just get it done. You got 3 trades with a free boost. If you need to, you've got players that you can drop. You can go, 1 down, 2 up. You can do that Haas to Tarpany switch, get yourself an extra 130. You're only 200k away from there. So that would be where I'd go from that. But again, if he's in your flex, you can pretty much do anything you want with it. So I would be definitely trading Ponga out of this period. Trav?
Ponga's biggest trade is to Turbo.
I was going to say Turbo would be mine.
Yeah, it's sideways again, but I want to get away from that risk of a low score out of a fullback like that. You know what I mean? Like you've already lost the money in Ponga.
It's a lot of money to go up though. Like I think a lot of people at the moment
need 340. You're going to need 340k to get all 3, even more than that actually, because he's more than 900 now. But you'll need 350k to go from Ponga up to Teddy. Ponga has to be traded out, so he's not going to play this week, and he won't play. He won't back up on Friday. Next week, in which they play in 13. Obviously, then he plays 14, but then he misses 15. And I don't think he backs up in that round. I think I was looking at it before. 16. I'll do it again now. 16, they play Saturday afternoon against the Dolphins. So he's got to go from Perth up to... Oh, no, he's got to stay. So he'll probably bloody stay in Perth, actually. So he may back up that game.
There you go. But the thing that I also look at too, especially like I know it is a lot of coin at the moment to get away from him, but a good chance that you've probably got Karaz as well. You've probably got some outs. You've probably got a little bit in the bank. If you're going Karaz down to Mark, it's 150k. If you're going Haas to Tarpany, there's another 130k. You know what I mean? Like you can make that money back quick this week. And that's why I was saying before, especially in your situation, Joel, if you've got luxury numbers this week, I would be using that coin to get my next numbers sorted. But again, like if I still had a Ponga, I'd be trading him out this round and I'd be finding someone to go to. And if it didn't have Teddy, I would be making it happen. I would be doing the trade specifically going Tedesco in, Ponga out, and then what do I need to do to fill that void? Because again, Trav just mentioned his availability over the next period. Teddy plays all the minis, all the majors, like straight off the jump. You're at an advantage. He's averaging massive. He's killing it. He looks fantastic when he's playing. I'd just rather get away from someone who looks bad on the eye and get someone in good. And I think the Turbo trade is a very easy one because they're basically the same price and you don't have to worry about it. And you're just getting a guy that plays the buys, but at what cost? You know what I mean? Like, what's he going to do? You could definitely very well easily come out and score 120 points, but I would kind of want to see him do that again and just see if he can do it because it just doesn't seem like he's got it in him at the moment. But
I feel like that's
Sure.
the reason why so many, and you boys included, kept Ponga for so long. Though you were waiting for those scores because he's capable of doing so. Now, if you have Turbo is your trade from Ponga, I feel like it's for almost the same reasons. And if anything, Turbo is more realistic to do it. Like he was actually pretty close to getting a decent score on the weekend. He dropped one cold, which should have been a dead set try for him. I think there was another one as well where he could have easily led to a try with him. So all of a sudden, I know we're talking about a very average score from him on the weekend, and the sin bin. So that could have easily turned into a 70 or 80, and he didn't really do much at all. Like he still had a very average game for a Turbo game. So in terms of not trying to shake up too much and just going that basically sideways trade, I still see fair bit of merit in it, to be honest, because he's about to versus Para team without Moses and Lomax. He could easily score 100 plus. He's an easy VC option on the weekend with the loop as well. That could be an easy way to set up your round perfectly because I think he might have a point to prove. There's no DCE, so a lot will actually revolve around Turbo. Look, I get it, and voiced about it this week. It's very clear his body doesn't seem 100% for some weird reason because throughout the start of the year, he started to look like he was getting back to sort of a bit of Turbo that we know and love. But I do like the trade a little bit more than I know that you just mentioned about there, Jesse. There was part of me for a while that was actually tempted to go Iongi to Turbo because it just feels almost too good to not do it because it's Turbo and getting him at this price is just insane. Because all it takes is him to go one or two bang bang, and then all of a sudden you're going, why didn't I just get him when he was in the 500s?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and that's the risk that you take, I guess, for not doing it because, getting Turbo at 550, that's a freaking bargain every day of the week, 100%.
And if you're lower in the ranks, it's the sort of a play that you actually have to start making. Like if you are wanting to jump ranks and you're down in the 30, 40,000s or something, and you're looking at making sort of play, like this is one of those plays you probably have to make. You have to risk sort of some of these trades now to start climbing up more and more. There's no point going in all these plays that everyone else has because you're just going to sit there.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're going for that pod route, he's by far and away in the pod discussion. He's as far as it goes in the top 1%. I will expand on this. In the 1%, he's in 12% of teams. In the top 5%, he's in again 12% of teams, and it's probably going to be the same for 10 as well. So 11%. Yeah, so he's very, very low owned. And look, as far as it goes, if you're doing that and you're comparing the two between them, Ponga hasn't been lighting the world on fire. So even if Turbo doesn't, like, what's the difference? You know what I mean? You just got more opportunity. The only difference was that Ponga wasn't injured, where Turbo clearly is in a way. So, yeah. Look,
Flex makes this decision a bit easier as well.
It does, but you don't want to be flexing out bloody Tommy Turbo or Kalen Ponga, do you? It just doesn't make sense this year. But again, look, we're talking about the Eels matchup, about a Mosesless Eels. He played a Mosesless Eels in round 4. We all captained him. He got 24 points. So, and that was an injury-affected game.
Some guys just can't do it.
It happens. Some people, they're not built for it. They're not Iongi.
No.
Yeah, so what else have we got going on with this one? Look, there's a few other outs too. Big injury players. Dylan Egan. He's got an ACL. He's an easy out. I'm actually holding him for next week, and he's going to be my Koloamatangi trade. But yeah, if you've got him and he's a player to trade, 100%, you got to get rid of him. Jacob Carraz, potentially 4 to 6 weeks out, 800k over this period. Would have been amazing to have him for the buy rounds because he would have played all of them. Not meant to be. It's no good. There's a chance that he might be back for the last one. We'll have to see what happens. But again, that sort of coin sitting on your bench when you need him most, I think he's a trade out personally. What about you, Joel?
Yeah, I agree. It sucks, but he's a trade.
Yeah. Trav, you trading him out?
Yep. He's gone. Unfortunately, I can't hold that. You can't hold that value at that price.
You can't hold. No, you can't hold 800k for that long. And it's a calf too, and they always niggle and they always linger. So it's one of those weird ones too. Like there's a good chance that we just never get him back this year.
And
which
it's screaming more and more like that. Like he's had that back injury that didn't start the year, and then he plays a few games, and then this calf injury pops up. It's looking more and more like 2025 is Carraz is done for Supercoach purposes.
yeah, and the problem is he's averaged 81. So
Yeah.
if he comes back through and he keeps going, I'm not saying he's not going to finish the season off. Like he will definitely be back by 20, I would hope. But if it doesn't, man, he's going to be bloody expensive to start next round. But he's got a break even of 123. So every chance
I
he
mean,
drops.
he did get 150 in Magic Round.
Exactly. Yeah, he could definitely do it. That's the painful part. But yeah, he's a trade out. Straight into his replacements though. God, it gives you a wealth, doesn't it? Because he's the dearest one. It's a shame that you don't have options like Lomax or Holmes or any of these guys this week, because they would have been a really nice swap. I probably still wouldn't trade him to that, even with an Origin game. You can't risk the injury side, though I would do a proactive trade and try and get him if I could. You've got a few. Kyle Ero, he's pretty much one of the most popular trade-ins at the moment, and he's absolutely killing it. He's scored a try in every single game he's played this year. He is, which is an insane stat too. Like last year he couldn't buy a try to start the year, and now he can't stop scoring them. He's averaging 79.1, which is nuts. He's 698k, 67 break even on a Roosters edge that is consisting of Mark Nwangani Tawasi and Dom Young, not known for their defensive efforts. So
Captain.
Yeah, he's a really good option this week. If there wasn't, I feel better captaincy options in that game with like a Nico Hines or something, I would be all about it. And if he played earlier and it wasn't that matchup, I would almost VC him. But he's an in for me. I think he's probably the best replacement for a Carraz. Base and power is as good as Jacob Carraz's was. Leading into that last round, just about try scoring ability is there for it. And consistency. Like you want to get a guy that can get you an 80 when you need him to. I think, Kyle Ero is the guy to do it personally. I think he's the one for it. Another popular one for it is Herbie. I love the Herbie play, to be fair. They're both on a bye next week. So on the availability side of things, I actually think that the Sharks play has a better bye coverage run. But again, both off next week. It's just Herbie's matchup this round is really nice on that Bulldogs right edge. As good as the Dogs have been defensively, I just feel like there's something going to happen on that side between Blake Taff and Wilson on that wing. He's a big boy, man. Like these aren't massive units that he's running into. So I love it. I think it's flip a coin too. They're both on try scoring streaks. They're both killing it. They're both pretty much near about the same price. It's just preference. Who do you like more and who do you back more? But third one I've got on the list, Marky Mark. We had the little post we put up earlier about him after his efforts last week. I think he's a great one too. And the center position switch for him is only for a week with Toya. But again, you're going to get more offloads out of him. You probably won't get too many errors under the high ball out of him either, which I think Joel said before. So, I just think he's a seasoned keeper. He hasn't a bad game this year. He's scored well every single time we've watched him, and we always think, Jesus, this guy's a freak. When's the opportunity to get him? And I think if you can do it and you want to do it this round, it's the one. So they're the top three anyway that I was looking at. Obviously, the most top three popular trade-ins that are playing this round. How would you go about ranking the three of them, Trev?
You want me to rank them? I would go Ero into Marky Mark into Herbie, and the reason being is Ero is just a monster and can get better. I think Herbie is what Herbie is. He's doing what he is and scoring amazingly, and I'd love to have that, but Herbie is what Herbie is. And Marky Mark, I've got him second because of the draw.
Yeah,
and what they have. They've only got the 14 and 17, so basically means to me that they're single team buys. So Marky Market's second spot.
Very easy to cover. The 14 and the 17, as far as it goes at the moment, it almost looks like, unless you have 5 Roosters, I think you have a pretty good chance to get away with it. And I reckon too, by then, if everyone's held a Toya for a buy coverage that never actually came to be, his break even, he's negative at the moment. But if he gets one more game between now and 14, I reckon he's a trade out in 14. Just take his coin and jump off if he's named to Origin again. So that's one less Rooster you have to worry about for those buys too. So
Toy's not playing Origin Game 2 unless he kills it next week. Because by then, it's surely Talangi and Cobbo are back, and they'll lock those spots in. But and then that'll cause the shuffle. I've got another one for you that I want to pull up. I've got two, actually, if it's all right.
Of course, please.
Just a bit of a shout out and thought. Based off price, he's 578K, currently averaging 61.6. He's 4.3% owned. Mulatalo, I think, is a good shout out based off his price. We mentioned already Hopewadi, so we said that at the start. He's a good shout. The other one, although he's going to play Origin, I just think as a pod play, because the question is a bit of a pod play, just don't sleep on the form winger in the competition, Xavier Coates.
Lomax.
They're both great. Xavier Coates, 700K.
700K, averaging 73.8, man.
Minus 19 break even at 700K.
Yeah, he's averaging 73.8.
Yeah.
Now, no one would have said that. He's absolutely killing it as a pod play, and I think he keeps going. He's got if he can stay healthy through the Origin period, I think he keeps going. I think he's a quiet little shout out for a pod play that you can pick up during Origin period. I reckon.
During the period,
I reckon you could pick him up maybe in the next maybe 16, 17. I'd be looking at that.
He'd be dear by then. He'll be on the way back down more than likely price-wise.
Yeah, maybe, but he's just putting up numbers. Like he's averaging more than what Marky Mark is. He's slightly, he's 6 points less than Iro. Either way, though, I just wanted to give him a shout out. He's averaging enormous numbers. If you want someone like that's going to give you really good pod play idea or play, Mulatalo is probably the fourth one to add to that list of three that you said.
Yeah. Joel, did you
all of those guys are well under 10% too. So Iro's 3.7% owned. He'll be 8% owned at the moment now with the buy-ins this week. Marky Mark was 8.3 going into this, and Mulatalo is currently 4.3. And Herbie, I think he was 16%.
Yeah, he's quite highly owned actually in the top percentages now too. I think he's up in like almost 60-70% owned in the 1%. So he's quite high up there now. Everyone sort of jumped on him recently, but yeah, there is a couple of them. Did you have anyone, Joel, that you wanted to sort of shout out as your little potties? Center wings?
No, not really. Just on Marky Mark, I'm not that keen on him at center, and it's also probably the fact that I'm dirty on the fact that I reverse traded my trade last week, so that would have also been nice to keep that. I love the Robert Toya shout at the moment. Just on him, I noticed he's in the top traded out this week, which I think is absolutely crazy. Just hold on to him. Take the hit this week of having that one person less, if that's what it takes for you. He's got a minus BE still. He's starting to find a lot of form. I think he'll pick up a lot from his Origin game and camp as well. Like you said, at least try and get at least one more game just to ride that negative BE. And he could be almost close to 600K by the time you actually get rid of him. And that could be huge in terms of going on to someone else who will be a season-long keeper. It'll be either basically a sideways trade or it'll be not much money in it at all. And it'll be very much appreciated. At the moment, it's a good price, but the fact that he's got a minus and he's actually still playing quite well. The other thing with Roosters players, I'm a bit cautious because with Walker coming back soonish, I actually think they're going to go on a little bit of a run. So it's sort of like I like it, but at the same time, I also do think they're a bit of a dark horse at the moment where their team's not as bad as I think a lot of people had them to be at the start of the year when they had so many injuries and stuff like that. They're starting to get everyone back. They're starting to get some players confident again. Sam Walker with Sandon Smith could turn that place around. Angus Crichton will start getting used a lot better in the run home as well, which would be awesome for them. So I just think watch that. Don't get off too many Roosters. I definitely think someone like Billy Smith just isn't quite doing it. So he's the one I'm looking at. But again, his price is going to be very hard to do anything with at the moment, which is the thing that really sucks. But for me, as much as I do think Toya, I can see getting rid of him. I'm also in a way, like I feel like he's going to get a lot out of this camp and he'll come back and just tear teams apart. We've already seen glimpses of it, and I just think his confidence is going to be now sky high. It's going to be a hard sell in a way. I don't know. It's going to be a hard sell.
I feel like my net's bugging out. Sorry. Yeah, look, it would be a hard sell, definitely, because I do expect him to come back from that camp with obviously a bit more experience around it. But two, if he does get a game 2 or a 3, then he goes, by around
Yeah.
14, 15, plays 16 potentially, by around 17, 18, he's off. There's too many outs. And if he gets that one game where his price gets that jump between now and round 15, I'd be happy to upgrade him to someone for that period and lock someone in. But yeah, I do agree with the Rooster side of things. I reckon once Sam Walker's back in there, geez, it could be anything. So, look, there's loads of them too. I did have a bit of a list of players here, but I'll be going on forever if I went through them. Blaze Talungi, I was very keen on him. I got a little bit colder on him after I saw the team list. I'm just really worried about that Panthers side. It doesn't really scream anything to me at the moment, but he's been scoring really well, and I love the 5'8" duel. Tomoko. Tomoko was another player that I highlighted too. Big pod, 91 last week. He sort of always finds his feet during this time of the year, and he has a mad run, kills it, and might plateau a little bit later. But yeah, the Raiders look fantastic. And there'll be one that we'll look forward to as well next week. Ewan Aitken is now dual center, which is really nice. He got the second row and the center wing dual. He's 534k. He's on a bye this week. But his break even's 22, so definitely one to consider for next round. Or if you were to downgrade like a Karaz and your center wing was stacked and you didn't need numbers, he's a player I feel like you could almost snatch up for a downgrade option too. So there's a few. And God, Jermaine Azarko always looking at me, always tempting me. So that's as far as I want to sort of run into the center wing side. There's plenty of options. We've got lots of stuff and good chance to deviate as well with these pods because they are very low owned still. What do we got else as well? Yeah, that's essentially sort of like the shuffle on the trade side. There's a lot of people in the same boat, man. It's the trade outs. Egan, Karaz, Ponga, Haas, even Purdue's in the mix now. The bad game at 5'8". I still want to give him more of a run. Toya's already getting traded, which is madness. Nafahu White is unlucky. He got injured. Matty Nicholson, again, injured. Kind of got to go. Bo Fermor, one I sort of wanted to mention real quick too. 702k, dual, playing Origin, probably playing really low minutes. I don't think there's any risk of him not backing up. I'd almost just keep him if you could.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yep.
And Nathan Cleary, again, we might just touch on it too. Now that I feel like if you're going to trade Cleary, it was last week. Again, I did that last week. He'll more than likely back up next week, potentially. Is Cleary on your trade plans if you still had him?
No.
No, I'm holding him at the moment.
Yep.
Me and Trav spoke about this last week, so I'm convinced holding.
Has him. Have you both got him?
No.
I do.
But yeah, you've got him. I would honestly, in this position, I'll probably hold him. I just hold him, get him next week.
I said that on the pod last week. I said you either trade him last week or if you're going to keep him like Joel was, I said, and I advised, and as Joel eloquently organised and mentioned too, is that if you're going to hold him, you hold him through. You trade him out after 15.
Yeah, 15 is the time to trade Cleary. If you do obviously still plan on trading Cleary at that point, I'd be trading in 15 going forward because you'll play, 1 out of 4 or 5 or something like that. So yeah, but then again this week, just get him for that next game against the Eels next week, isn't it? And then he goes into the Tigers. 100% fantastic matchups for him. And the trade-ins, basically everyone we just mentioned. So that's essentially the ins and outs, my boys.
Just one player I want to quickly touch on. Jordan Samrani, obviously quite high on the list at the moment. I don't like this at all.
Why, as a Paraffin? Why?
Yeah, why not? I think it's not bad, to be honest.
He's starting this week. He has the duel, but once Lomax is back and Moses, he's back to a bench player. He's not going to be in this team at the moment. He's not a starting edge at the moment. They're still trying to work on his minutes to get him into that starting edge player. It's either Tuolangi or Williams who will be the starting edge on that side for the time being. Katoga's cemented his spot on the other edge as well. He's that work in progress that they've committed on. I know that the duel and things like that. Like I said at the start, my trades and stuff, I'm looking at genuine sort of keepers at the moment. I don't want to tempt myself into these players where I just get stuck on it. I can just see a lot of people getting stuck on Semrani. It's going to be, it might be handy having that duel, but I also think there's a number of players at the moment with similar sort of duels at the moment that most people have in their team already. So I just don't, I think it's a bit of a waste.
If you need to facilitate a trade and you need a duel, who has a minus 19 break even, will definitely make coin. Has always seemed to find himself in that seam somewhere though. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say anyone in that second row is cemented and locked in at the Eels by any means. I almost feel like it's revolving doors at this stage. So, look, it's not the worst. Genuinely, it's not someone I'd be going and targeting, being like Semrani's my guy. But he's less than 300k. He's got a very handy duel at the moment. He's definitely going to make coin. And if what's he going to do? He's just going to drop out of the side altogether and then become a dual nuff for you. Which at value too, he won't be 300k anymore. He'll probably close to 400, maybe a little bit more, and he might pop his head back up. I just don't think they don't cover any of the next two buys though, the Eels. So it's just another number you don't get. But yeah, look, you could do much worse if you were going to go cheap. Again, you could just go completely nuff, and it might not be a bad idea. But again, like you kind of almost want someone to just pop their head up and almost be a player when they need to be. Because then there's another one too. What's that? Lipboy Hotboy from the Dogs. He's starting front row at the moment with the outs for the Dogs, and he's cheaper. He's 232k as a second rower. He might be in the same boat. He'll play a couple of games here and there, get a bit of a price rise, drop out entirely, or become an AE problem. There are players like that. I feel like Semrani's not that kind of guy. I feel like when he's out entirely. So yeah, a little bit on him.
He'll be on the bench. He'll be getting 20-minute stints. He'll be a pain in the ass.
Probably.
Good luck. Actually, everyone get him. Everyone get him. Good trade.
Cool, Mr. Sabotage.
Oh no, that's hey, don't try and palm that title off to anyone, mate. That is yours and yours only.
Yeah, he's actually he's number 7 in the most traded in players this week, Semrani, which is quite funny to be fair. But would have thought there's more coin getting about than having to go down somewhere like that. Didn't realize he was so high. Even Xavier Savage. Wow, he's number 5. We didn't really touch too much on him. No, minus 27 break even, but he goes big bang and then nothing. So your trades this week. How are we doing?
Who?
Joel. Said yours were locked in already.
Yeah, I've locked in. I'm loaded. I'm going all 3 this week in a bid to have these. As I'm literally saying right now, all these 3 is my plan to have season-long keepers. I do not want to trade these 3 out unless they're out for basically the year of injury or an extended period. So Egan gone, Karaz gone. I feel like they're both pretty standard. You might have a good laugh at this one. Connor Tracy, you're gone. I've sacked you after 1. I'm not doing you. I got your little price rise. See you later. I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
I've gone Iro. I've gone Herbie. And I've gone Nakora as well. So I've locked in those 3 as my trades. And that's what I sort of said at the start, and I was trying to hint towards, is the fact that, yes, I know they all play this week, and I know there's going to be a round coming up where it's going to hurt me a lot to have all 3.
Next weekend.
Basically next week, but I see them all as season-long keepers. I think Nakora is a great price at the moment. He's historically shown that he literally can go and run. And I looked ahead at the Sharks run. They've got a very nice draw basically from now on in terms of whenever they play. They actually play some decent, good teams for Supercoach purposes, good teams with Origin purposes as well. Some of the bigger teams, it's around the Origin period, so they're affected. I really like getting him in at a 541k. I will take that every day of the weekend. I'm very happy with my second rows now. I'm very happy with the depth I got there. Very happy with my center wings. Very happy with those this week. My plan is to look at the front row options next week. At the moment, via Jules, I've got Clark up there, so he can play there this week. But I am very tempted on the Haas trade. That is for sure. I'm just trying to work out who to go to.
Solid as anything. It's just a shame you won't get any of the 3 of them next week. They'll all be out.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it.
It's what it is.
Good time again.
Yep. Yeah, jump on the big buy round, I suppose. Capitalize on those scores. Trav, locked it in yet?
And watch Connor Tracy put up 120 odd this weekend. But I wouldn't be doing that. But Yeah, which
I'm
is kind
ruthless.
of my same thoughts were happening with Drinkwater, and I was sitting there going, "Oh my god!" And I've said for the last 3 days, I just don't want to deal with that. But when I've started looking at the data and things, I brought him in at 900k. I knew what he was doing. He was averaging like 130 the last 5 games or something. Like it was something stupid. Yeah, he's had a stinker. It is what it is. That's his lowest score. I don't know since ever. And I don't have the stats that Jesse can pull up, but yeah, I reckon that's probably his lowest score that he's ever scored.
Since he was
So
12.
I am keeping Scott Drinkwater now. So my current trades are look. I'm very much undecided. I've played with this so often, and I don't know what I'm going to do. My first trades that I did before, basically off lockout, was Karaz out, Marju out, Ponga out, and in came Fanua Blake, Iro, and Blaze Talangi. They were the first trades I did, and today I've changed it to before this podcast. I changed it to, and Jesse can vouch to this because I messaged him this morning saying, I need you to tell me why we're trading, why not to trade out Haas. And all he said was basically all the evidence to trade Haas out, and was not the news I wanted to hear because I wanted to keep Haas. But what he said made me do it. So currently I'm sitting at Haas and Karaz out for Tarpany and Iro. And my third trade is Ponga, and I've got 813k to spend for Ponga to somebody. But I'm trying to forward plan a little bit so that everyone knows what my forward plans are. I'm looking at trying to get Hubner out next weekend. And I want him to go straight to Kula Matangi, and that's going to cost me 265. So I need to figure out a way to make sure I've got a little bit of cash there. So either I can spend a chunk of this now and push Strange to Fainu, which will give me 200k next week. The old little Galvin news today has lit up a little Latu Fainu fire for me. Strange down to Fainu next week. Strange will have done exactly what I brought him in for. Got me good 50s and 60s the last few weeks. Playing 12, hopefully gets me another 50 or 60. Did exactly what I wanted. Drop him down, make 200k as a minimum. And I'll trade Hubner there. So I've got to just play with what my third trade is and what I do with Ponga. My three options are AFB, Turbo, and Herbie.
For next week or this round?
That's for this round. That's Ponga to one of those. Ponga to one of AFB, Turbo, and Herbie, which will still leave me more than around 100k. It'll still leave me at least 100k for all of them. AFB, yeah. So it'll leave me 100k, which means my Strange to Fainu next week for 200k gives me more than enough to go Hubner to Kula Matangi next week, and I'm freaking set. Really, I'm not making any try. I don't need to. 15 will give me, as long as touch wood, I don't get any injuries and things, I'm going to have a lot of numbers for round 15, and my numbers at 18 are looking good too. So my numbers for the buys will be good. So yeah, that was a long-winded answer, but that's a couple of weeks worth of trade ideas.
Love that. Yeah, so I've just been doing those forward plan things for this buy round too, and I think 15 and 18, I don't know if our sides are too different as far as the numbers go, but I'm stacked for 15 and 18. I've got plenty, more than enough, especially 18. I think I've got like 16, 17 players at the moment. So it's just this round that hurts. And also, just to backtrack a little bit on that Drinkwater stuff, I did go back and have a look while you were talking just real quick on his lowest game that he's played recently. It was in 2023 against the Broncos, and I'm pretty sure it was that game that Adam Reynolds basically put him under the high ball about 40 times, and he dropped it every time. I think it was that game, just off the top of my head, because he scored 1 point in 70 minutes.
Wow.
He based and powered 19 that game, and he lost 18 points in minus stats. So, yeah, he got 1 in a 70-minute game. Whether or not there's no binning in that 70 minutes, so I'm not sure what happened there, but that is nuts.
He subbed himself off. He goes, get me out of here.
2023 round 2. So it actually might not have been that game because I thought that game was last year. Either way, it's happened before. So
Shocker.
damn.
Shocker.
For my trades this week, I did have a lot of options because I got a lot of bloody injuries. I've still got Egan. I've still got Marzu. Obviously Karaz. I do have Galvin, and the Galvin news coming through that this release is effective immediately, and where's he going to go and all that sort of stuff. I thought, look, I can write it out and wait and see what club he ends up at, but I'm not doing that. That's just dumb. So
Ooh. He's
Because
your boy.
if he ends up at the Eels, but I reckon he'll go nuts.
you reckon he ends up at the Eels soon?
No. Well, yeah, if it'll be an immediate release, I reckon the Eels
but
will chuck him straight in.
I'm seeing more news about the Dogs than the Eels.
Yeah, so am I. But if he ends up that's why I think he's a bit of a holder. And if he goes to the Dogs, I reckon that's even better.
Yeah, I'm still honestly undecided about it. I was going to keep him. I was going to bring in Blaze Talangi into my center wing for a Karaz trade out, just so I had the flexibility at 5'8" if I needed to move something around. Instead, I'm thinking I might just rip the band-aid off and go out. But I'm not fully decided on the Galvin 5'8" side of things yet. But I am going Haas to Tarpany. That is definitely on the cards for me. And I am going Karaz to Kyle Ero as well. I've already got Herbie, Garrick, Sharp. These guys like us, we've got some pretty good centre wingers at the moment. Ero's just that guy that I think out of the lot, I think I do want to keep him for the season. I think he's definitely going to be a top 5. Mark would be fantastic. Again, sort of just doesn't fit the plans and the way that works. But yeah, at the moment, it's the third slot that I'm trying to work out what to do with. At the moment, it's Galvin to Burton. Burton plays all 3 buys. He's kicking again. Matty Burton, you sort of get what you get out of him. Again, I don't know if I'll sort of want to be chasing a bit more upside this week, considering I am a man down, and I kind of want someone that can go bang if I need them to get a ton. So I'm not fully locked in on that yet, but that Galvin is actually a little bit dearer than Burton, even after a couple of his price drops. It puts 217k in the bank, and going into this round, I've got $600 in the bank. So I had nothing to work with at all after getting Drinkwater last week. And yeah, putting 217 in is really handy because I'll be going Egan to Koloamatangi next week. And then I'll try and work something out. Initially, I had plans to move a center out, drop Dylan Lucas down, move Garlic back into my 2RF, Sandon Smith back into hooker, get myself another halfback. That might have to be on hold for a couple of weeks, but I'll work it out. But at the moment, those 2 are definitely locked in, and I'm still tossing up what I do with my third trade. But I do need a number this week, so it does have to be a player for this round, and ideally the next buy as well, give or take. Probably not necessary, but very much needed overall. So yeah, 2 out of 3 locked in, money in the bank. That's for me.
Thank you.
Captains and vice captains. Big week for it.
VC, Garrick, Captain Hines. I hate the fact I'm not putting on Eero. Hate it.
Still can.
I just like the Hines play better.
It's a big call. I hate that I'm not doing Eero, but I'm putting it on Hines. I just think that's a sign to do it. When you say those words about hate is a very harsh word. I'm VC Sharp. I'm VC Sharp and Captain Hines.
I'm VC Herbie. And at the moment, I'm Captain Teddy.
Yeah.
You got Teddy.
Of course I got Teddy. Who doesn't have Teddy?
I hate the. I've been using hate a few times at the moment. I hate that you have Teddy. Hate it.
You can get him. You are allowed.
Oh,
919k.
Yeah, I can't.
Already.
Unless I go drinky, see you later. But after this, drinky's on an amazing run, so I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and that's
Drinky
what
to
I
Teddy.
did. Originally, I had Drinky to Teddy because I was pissed, but then I really actually took the emotion out of it and looked at the stats and the data and said, no, I'm sticking on Drinky.
That's fair. But yeah, no, he's there is obviously everyone looking at the hindsight. I don't know. I just think Tedesco is Tedesco. You can't really go wrong, can you?
If you've got him, I think that's a no-brainer. I think there's actually a few decent options this week.
There is, sure.
Ero's a good captain choice, or a good captain choice. Herbie tomorrow is a good choice. I actually think Burton tomorrow is a good choice if you've got Burton, or Kickout if you're on either of those 2. I think they can. They're ready for a big game against the Dolphins. If you want to take a risk and you're holding Tracy, I reckon Tracy has a field day against that Dolphins team tomorrow. I think Turbo against the Eels, Garrick against the Eels, Ola Kawatu against the Eels. I think any of those guys are going to have no Moses, obviously Lomax has been out for a while, but no Moses. We know what the Eels did before Moses turned up, and when Moses came, they were a different team. Moses not playing, it's a different game. Fletcher Sharp against Penrith, and where they're at next, I think is a really good shout out. If Dylan Lucas is healthy, oh man, I'm excited I think that there's really a lot of options this week.
There's heaps. Yeah, there's so much this week. And that's why I was saying before, like, it is obviously the big buy round. Like, the captain choice this week could be massive. If you get your captain right, I reckon there's going to be 10 scores in plus 100 this week.
The one game that I'm thinking you avoid for captains, just go and grab a beer or wine or whatever and enjoy a Sunday arvo is the game to avoid a captain is the Warriors Raiders. Because I just think that's going to be a defensive... Oh, it's just going to be such a good game. I'm not sure anyone's really going to put up big numbers for a captain.
I think Aaron Clark is the Terrell May Payne Haas choice of the week. I think he'll actually score quite decently. And if you just want a stock standard, 85-90, I don't mind him as a C.
For an 85-90, I'd be going Tarpany. You know, you got Ford and Afoa as the
Some
front
people
rowers
won't have Tarpany, mate. I'm just saying for me.
For you, Clark, fair enough. Clark's going to have he's a freaking animal this last couple of weeks. He's been killing it. It's making me so jealous.
And
not owning him.
Both front rowers are out, so I just think he does even more, which I just love. Love having him at the moment.
For sure, I think he does more, but I think you got to look on the other side of things too. I think Tarpany is probably
Clark will smash him.
The Kia matchup.
Clark will whack him.
Either way, so many options.
I am avoiding that game. To be fair, I'm not going to have anyone captain or VC in that. Or no, I'm not stupid to have a VC, but I'm avoiding that game for captains.
Yeah, I would be too, personally. I just want to enjoy watching it and not have to stress about my captain. 100%. But that seems like it. Pretty much everything covered for this round. Nice. Good luck in your buys. Good luck in your planning. Hopefully you've done enough. I thought I did. Didn't happen. So, honestly, it's going to be a cracker round. There's good matchups this week. It's going to be a good week of footy, and then Origin coming straight through too. Joel, did you want to mention anything about Origin side as we're wrapping up?
Oh, sorry. I want to play a game. Thank you for the reminder. I would have got off this and would have been absolutely devastated. I want to have a bit of fun. Now, we've obviously been big on a draft team at the moment when it comes to our Tuesday night live show. Thought of this in the car. Now, I've been up for a long time today. I'm a bit delirious. To be fair, this is an idea I had yesterday, so I'm not going to blame today on it. I want us to pick 3 players each, so a back, a playmaker, and a forward that's playing in next week's Origin. And we all get to have their Supercoach score. We tally it. Whoever's the top scorer, we'll go down to the bottom. And I reckon we agree on a little punishment for the person who finishes last. It has to be something fun. Can't be obviously nothing too overboard, but just have a bit of fun with it. I'm keen. I'm keen to do this, and I want you boys to buy in. Buy in
on a punishment.
I think you shave your head. No, that's a bit extreme.
Yeah, it is a bit extreme. What about you got to make the other guys trades for him that week?
Oh, that's...
that could be completely derail. Oh, wow. That's extreme.
Or you choose the captain. It's not much of a punishment, but it's...
Yeah, but
it could be if you...
Are you going to do an asshole move? Would you do an asshole move?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't do an asshole move personally.
So then it's not really a punishment.
Flop, but could be. We'll work the punishment out. Otherwise, it's just going to be making for weird podcasting at the moment. So we'll work a punishment.
I was just going to say something like because I reckon what we do is we do one for each Origin game, and it changes each time. Like we'll announce the winner each time, so there'll be 3 times where there can be a loser. I was going to just say the first one can be in the game following next Wednesday nights for the next Supercoach show. The loser has to wear their opposite states colors or something. Like there'll be a wig or like nothing expensive, like not a jersey or nothing, but like if let's say if it's me, I have to come on with something maroon on and basically just be, which will make me sick to the stomach. But I think that for the first one, it gives us time to think about it for going into the next couple of weeks, something like that to start off.
Righto.
I don't own anything maroon. It's not allowed near my house.
Go to Silly Shop, buy a wig, buy a little stupid shirt. Boom.
Okay, let's go. 3 players from both. Yeah.
So we'll go. Who wants to go first, actually? Because we'll go around the room and just do one each
You
time.
go first because I kind of understand the concept. So you do it.
So
So we're going off the Origin teams. We all get to pick one player each, but once you've picked that player, he's gone. So we can't have double up. And it's about who's going to have the top Supercoach score, because obviously we get that via Fox Sports and stuff. We'll get the Supercoach scores post the Origin. We'll see who's got the top score, and then we'll see who's got the lowest score as well. So I was going to quickly bring up the Origin teams to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. My center wing I will choose, or my back, I should say, because fullbacks are included as well, which could be a game changer. To be fair, neither fullback's in form, so I don't know. I have a feeling no one will choose them. I want to go. I'll go Lomax. I think he's a workhorse, so I'm happy to have Lomax as my center or backline player for this game. Who's going next out of you two? Should I think of a number between 1 and 10?
7.
Oh, yeah. So it was 1. 1's my number. You're
Go
kidding.
for it.
So what are the three spots? Back
A playmaker, so 6, 7, and 9, and then forward.
and then a forward. Okay.
Yeah, which can technically be a bench player as well, but I doubt would go a bench. So
Cool. And you just picked Lomax, so that's no good. I'm gonna go Hammer.
ooh.
You son of a bitch. Okay.
You get 2 picks here, Jesse, because we'll do a snake one. So obviously it's a bit
Reverse
fairer
order.
for you.
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go Valentine Holmes.
Oh, I'm gonna say I'm looking at him at the end of the actual State of Origin series to get in my team at some point. I think he's been going all right for the Drags.
Yeah, I think so too.
Go your playmaker.
Playmaker. Oh god, I'm going Nathan Cleary, aren't I?
I don't know. Are you?
Yeah, I am.
I've got Munster.
That's who I wanted. I'm spewing about that stuff. Shit. Oh, I don't want to double up on para players. I feel a bit...
You get the turn, so you get this and the turn.
Oh, I might regret. Oh, he's injured, so it's a big play choosing Grant. I just don't know. I don't want to double. Oh, I'll double up. I'll go Mark. Oh, it's not got the goal kicking either. Oh, I hate this. Hate this.
Don't overthink it.
Hurry up, the listeners.
Yeah, I'll go Grant. Sorry, I'll lock him in. He's my
Forward.
playmaker. And my forward, I will lock in Tino. Big Tino. I'm going him.
Damn.
I don't like the Haas injury. It scares me off.
I was going there. That was where I thought you might have gone someone else. What do we got? I'll go Carrigan. Queensland need him to be a man of the match, so I've got Carrigan.
I'll go Angus Crichton.
Oh,
I'm on all Queensland blokes. Damn it!
Big Gus.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
There's another team. There's another team.
I didn't do that on purpose. Well, I did do it on purpose because I picked him, but I didn't want to. Didn't want to start. Anyways, it is what it is.
Nice. That's
There you
fun.
go,
I'm
bit of
really keen to
fun.
see. Yeah, that's cool.
Bit of fun. I thought that would entertain you guys. I'm glad it has. I'll put this out as a post closer to Origin as well. And we've got some exciting other little Origin Supercoach crossover posts to do. I was supposed to get it out there today, to be honest, but I absolutely just got smashed, and it was supposed to be my tonight post, and I forgot to do it. So that'll be out tomorrow when you guys are watching or listening to this. Go check that out. You will love it. But yeah, this will be out the next couple of days to just go over it. Let us know what you would have done as well in the comments. Is that like, subscribe, all that jazz. Shout out Freedom Finance. Please reach out to him. Meet Con next week as well. But for now, goodbye. Good luck. Huge weekend ahead. It feels like there could be some really good scores out there, even though it's limited numbers. Very excited to get on next week and discuss it all. Thank you and good night.